Hey everybody, it's the Last Robokai here, and it's time for the 4th episode of Let's Play Dawn of War. Last time we managed to fend off the attack on Magna Bonum, which is also a kind of apple, and also a band. And these are things Google search tells you. And we'll be now heading out to fight Warboss Orkamungus, which is a hell of a name, and unfortunately he is not Godzilla-sized. But before we do that, we did promise something special for you all. So Cool Guy has been digging through his through the Wikipedias for Warhammer 40,000. There exists an extremely large number, and he has something very important to say to you about Orks. Take it away, Cool Guy.
Orks is never defeated in battle. If we win, we win. If we die fighting, so it don't count. And if we runs for it, we don't die neither, cause we can come back for another go, see?
And there you go.
I love orc logic. It's so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, and so now we're off to fight an orc force, which is by and large outfitted with most of their war gear and weapons, and their most powerful super weapon. And we're still going to be fighting with our mid-tier units. So let's just see how that goes. So we hop straight in.
There's lots of TAFEs involved.
The defense of the city of Magna Bonum was a success. The Orks caught us off our guard, but not unprepared. I will not underestimate these aliens again. It is clear now that their primary push was towards the capital city, and they have moved in to attack with a speed I have rarely seen a military force capable of achieving. I have read reports of Ork clans who focus on fast strikes, but I did not realize they could be so coordinated. It is as if something is driving the Orks here, some unknown desire or instinct. The Imperial Guard regiments watching over the city are decimated and will not be resupplied for at least 24 hours. The Orks will renew their attacks far sooner. Our scouts are reporting a force massing 50 kilometers from the city that dwarfs the group that attacked Magna Bonum, and reports from civilians speak of a mighty Ork who leads them, bigger and more cunning than the rest. If the capital city falls, this planet will not be far behind. I cannot allow this to occur.
And so we won't. We're off to behead an Ork command structure. And look, it's still safe over there, guys. You really should have gone to that place. Look at it.
But there's no spaceport there. There's no way to actually get off this damned world. Like, literally damned world. I'm not using that as a fleeting expletive.
I'm surprised they can spell law.
Look, you know, like it's important to note that they're spelling it in white. So the only thing that they learn is wa. That's the only thing they need to know is wa.
Everything is ready, boss. Them Humies is in for a good stomping. This is gonna be the best fight of their miserable lives.
Just make sure it's the last fight of their lives.
I don't take orders from you, Humie.
We've held up our side of the bargain, have we not? You wanted a new planet to wage war on, and we have given it to you. You wanted to face the Imperium's greatest warriors, the Space Marines. They are here. We've even provided you with weapons and Imperial tanks to use on the battlefield. And all we ask in return is that you keep the Imperials distracted from our operations here.
You've kept your word. But that still don't mean you can order the Orks around.
My apologies. We've delivered the last of the weaponry. They're in the hands of your servants, we'll take our leave now. I respectfully request that you keep the Marines busy for as long as you can.
We'll keep them more than busy. We'll keep them dead.
The thought of kowtowing to these creatures disgusts me. The Orks are a tool, nothing more. And quite an effective one, I might add. Perhaps. But I dislike providing such unpredictable aliens with our own weaponry. Lord Bale, Orks are not unpredictable. Quite the contrary. You can rely on them to turn against you. But they will honor our agreement as long as we provide them with enemies to satiate their battle lust. If we intimidated them into doing our bidding, showed them our strength, they would take pause before betraying us. You cannot intimidate something that knows no fear. Trouble yourself no longer with the Orks. We will have what we came for and be gone before they finish with the Imperials and turn on us.
Why's we talking with them humies instead of fighting with them? Them smelly chaos boys is weak. Not nearly enough of a challenge for the boys. If they were strong like Orks, they wouldn't need us to fight for them. We'll take their guns and their help, and when we're done chopping up all the humies, we'll come back here and chop them up as well.
Orbital imagery shows a heavy concentration of Orks in the area. We must secure a location and establish a base before destroying the Warboss and his clan. Combine the holy fire of the whirlwinds with the jump packs of our assault marines. Cleanse this area.
And we start off with 2 new units, and I'm going to, at first, make a really poor showing of using both of them, because the whirlwinds... whirlwinds are, of course, our very effective artillery, as you can see here. Look at him go, ain't that nice? I'm just telling these guys to start attacking the ground. And, you know, like, at some point, they just start glitching out and freaking out. And
yeah, that's, I already noticed something horrible wrong there when you told it to attack ground and it started moving.
And as you can see, they're starting to load but then stopping. I'm not sure what's going on here. They might be too far forward. Yeah, see, I'm not sure. I think the elevation's mucking them up with them. So I send in the assault marines, but the assault marines kind of need support to be able to get this done.
Yeah, like hardcore.
Because the thing about the assault marines is, while they're quite effective in melee, they're not nearly as durable as the regular space marines. And these guys just aren't doing anything. And I'm thinking at first, I'm like, oh, is it because they're in, like, don't shoot pose? But I told them to attack ground, so that shouldn't be a thing. But they just won't.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, I'm not particularly sure what's going on there. So it's not a great showing for either of these because they're supposed to work in you know, together, and it ain't happening.
Well, at any rate, what I was about to say before plot happened is that it's important to note that a lot of the primary, or a lot of the, for lack of a better term, secondary secondary armies of Warhammer have primary inspirations that are informative as to their overall idea or way that they're realized. And Orks are kind of one of those things where they're definitely like a primary usage, or a primary inspiration or icon for the entire universe, but they're not truly a civilization in and of themselves. And basically, what I'm getting to here is that they're inspired by soccer hooligans. Like orcs are basically soccer hooligans. Every single one of them is just a soccer hooligan. You just figure Manchester United, and like when they want to go fight people, Manchester United lost. Like fucking great.
Yep. They're it's generally sort of a lot of stuff from early Games Workshop productions that persisted to now have found their origins in a small part of England, because the internet was not a very big thing at all when this was first being conceived.
Remember, this was like the early '80s.
Yeah, and so a person's world was a lot smaller back then. Basically, as far as you walked day to day was the size of your world, and things that were happening elsewhere in the world really did seem far away. You couldn't get, instant images on Twitter of like conflict or of other things so fast. You basically had to sit down and wait for the nightly news to tell you.
Our scouts report the Warboss is in the vicinity
Man,
of this location.
we got a couple of. I'll wait.
They are heavily defended on this plateau. They must be eliminated to clear a path to the Warboss.
We got a couple of inputs of one of my like the assault marines, even though they're not the best of their type in this game. Like
I serve mankind.
the assault marines in Dawn of War 1 were actually the single unit that sold me on Warhammer 40K in the first place, and it was because of their lusty, intense shout of "A chainsword!"
Yes, they come packing the ubiquitous bolt pistol and the chainsword. The chainsword is probably the single most iconic weapon in Warhammer 40,000. It is essentially a sword with chainsaw teeth on it that revs when you squeeze the handle.
Yeah, it's a chainsaw that's made into a sword. I don't know how anybody could think this is a bad idea.
And they're wearing extremely large jetpacks that allow them to leap very good distances. The jetpack troops are actually very good strike units in this game. They can travel quite a distance to get into the foe, which usually ends up being you've overextended and they get shot to shit. But they have enough jump to get back out again as well. And the main advantage of them is we will get for them, as tactical Space Marine squads can wield frag grenades, assault marine squads can use melter bombs. And melter bombs are anti-vehicle extraordinaire tools. We talked about the melter gun in the previous episode and the multi-melter. Well, and we talked about, basically pointing a microwave powered by a fusion reactor at somebody. Well, now imagine they did that, but it's a bomb.
Yeah. Like now you just have basically a C4 charge. Excuse you?
Storm Boys!
Storm Boys!
Storm Boys are a very interesting facet of Orks, because we talked about how a lot of, look at that sync. 2 sync kills. There we go.
Fucking beautiful.
In sync. But the thing about Storm Boys is they're kind of a funny archetype of the Orks. Might as well talk a little bit about Ork archetypes here. A lot of what forms an Ork is their experiences shortly after the fungus that they are shed from grows large enough to birth a green skin. And so there's a hypothesis that one that travels a significant distance becomes a speed freak, because they've had to travel by foot for so far to get to other Orks. They absolutely hated it, and they become obsessed with not having to take a long journey that takes forever ever again. Storm Boys are kind of funny because, unlike other Orks, they tend to be more like young Orks rebelling against the basic tenets of Orkdom, of chaos and everything like that. So they like to pretend they're very structured, very militarized. They kind of do a mock Imperial Guard.
They're Ork teenagers. This is the greatest fucking thing.
I don't know what you've been told. Stormboy mobs is mighty bold. We're the hardest of the lot. We'll make you look like grots.
Yes.
Stormboy, drill chat. Yes, boss.
Yeah, they're sort of a parody both of teenagers in Teenage Rebellion, but also of the kinds of people who have never actually seen a battle, but still like pretend to be military. Not like for LARPing or anything like that, but just have like a real fetish for it, without any sort of actual understanding of what it takes to be a soldier and things like that. Which again, they probably experienced a few people like that in in the general region of the game creators. They're kind of fun.
Like they're all modeled after freaking soccer hooligans. Like there's definitely some tactical idiots like that.
And the same with the speed freaks. There's inevitably going to be people who get together and hang out and show off their cars and how cool their cars are, and they do burnouts in the car parks with their cars, which isn't as specifically a soccer hooligan thing. They were doing it like my brother used to go to things like that and like hang out with people in a car park with like their the back popped on their car and doofing loud music out of it and things like that. And invariably the police would come flying in and start like arresting people who like or like handing out defect notices and basically just trying to make sure people would stop getting together for these sorts of things just by generally harassing them, and it would invariably fail because like yeah, the cops have to go and leave and do something else sometimes, so everyone just gets back together.
Turns out being a cop is a busy job, and you don't have time to just mess with suppression duties all the time.
That said, there was sort of early on in the coronavirus lockdown in Australia, a group who decided, let's go to this somewhat more secluded location and have a get together with our cars and everything, and not realizing that someone had leaked it to the police and that the police were laying in wait for them. So when they all got together, the police just blocked all the exits and parked around them and were like, "Hi, you're under. Hi, we're not just gonna do defect notices in your cars. We're also gonna give you several $1,000 fines for breaking the like gathering rules
issues.
And quarantine rules and all this other stuff." And it was just like,
that's fair. Fair cop. Fair cop.
I mean, like, you just can't keep a secret anymore these days. Not on the internet. Don't bother.
Not on the internet.
Don't try and host
try.
a secret get together. At least don't try and organize it on the internet if you're gonna do it, guys. Because there's invariably gonna be a guy there in a mustache whose username is not a cop. So we've got a few more special units here. We've talked about the Storm Boys. We talked a little bit about the Speed Freaks that ride war tracks. We saw a war truck in the intro video, as well as a Squiggoth. We'll get into the Squiggoth later because we won't be seeing the war truck for whatever reason in this episode. There just isn't any. They're troop transport units that don't really have much teeth to their guns. They've got, I think my brain tells me you can upgrade them so they've got a speed booster, so that they can basically just ride in at full speed and drop an Ork squad directly up your nose.
That was a Winter Assault thing.
Might be. It all blends together. I think I've warned everybody on that. It's going to be hard to sort of pass things until I've encountered them myself.
We're like 15 years out from this game. This is basically a retro of like an in-depth retrospective, and I don't apologize for a damn second.
There is no such thing as
And we had our Nob squad there, because as we said before, there are Nobs who run squads of boys, and we have squads entirely made up of them. And they're quite meaty, chunky boys that take a lot to kill. They're quite a linchpin for your army, and you can armor them up and get them good gear. Winter Assault added the Mega Armor Boys, which sadly we won't be seeing here then as a result, but we will see them in Winter Assault, and they're quite fun. They're like they're basically orcs in power armor.
And for our friends who are new to Warhammer 40K, Knobs is 100% a corruption of nobles. That is 100% a canonical thing.
Also calling someone a big knob is not a is a sort of a slang thing for saying that somebody is a bit overly important about themselves, which again is of course derived from noble. Because noble obviously is somebody who would think very highly of themselves.
Yes, my lord.
And this is actually a fun mission because we go on a very snaky path, and orcs will be coming down to meet us a lot of the way, and so we'll be fighting tooth and nail up there. It's good. I like this. This is a good map, and this is unfortunately going to be the last major orc conflict map that we'll be doing.
Afterward, we're going to be running into a different enemy that we already saw in the intro of this particular mission.
Well, actually, no, because the next enemy we face is not going to be Chaos.
That's
but we
true.
do know
That's true. I completely
forgot. We do know
right.
Chaos are here. In particular, it is worth noting that our two characters that we've just met, the Sorcerer Sindri and the Chaos Lord Bale, they are part of the Alpha Legion. So, we talked about the Codex Astartes, and how the Codex Astartes is a very sort of, a rigidly adhered to book by a lot of chapters and things like that. The Alpha Legion are a Chaos Space Marine chapter that is the exact opposite of that. Every commander in an Alpha Legion, no matter how big or small it is, are taught to be self-sufficient. They are taught to think outside the box. They are taught to fight whatever means necessary in any way that will absolutely confuse the enemy. Melter bombs.
Pow!
Yeah, one melter bomb. One melter bomb took out a listening post. When I tell people melter bombs are really good because you can jump those guys in, drop a melter bomb, and then jump them out again. If you're decent enough.
You can be in and out, and like particularly in multiplayer and in many of the earlier versions. Like Assault Marines were absolute menaces. They would jump in through like you had three squads of Assault Marines. You could destroy like an armory or the barracks, and then just jump right back out. And your opponent would basically just be there wondering what the hell just happened.
Why'd my thing explode? Space Marines are very good at like the lightning strike. I didn't mention it before as well, but those two particular upgrades that were green, the bionic arms and the target finders, I believe they're called, they're essentially upgrades to the toughness and accuracy of your units.
The target finders in particular have a very storied history in the Dawn of War multiplayer because they they kept getting. But they kept getting more expensive. Like they never nerfed the actual effect, but it went from like 150 requisition to 350 requisition and stuff like that because it was so powerful.
Yeah, because accuracy is king in this game. Everybody is throwing a large barrage of fire at one another, and so the more accurate amount of fire you've got with your Space Marine squad, the more likely they're just going to absolutely annihilate everybody. Whereas other things like the Orks will never really get upgrades to that. So what they want is basically just to throw as much fire at you in the hope that they'll hit you.
Is also literally from the pen and paper or the tabletop games Ork Codex. It's like they're shooter boys. They literally don't care if they hit anything. They just want to make a giant racket.
It's all about the Dakar. Orks enjoy a good amount of making. Yeah, they're very big on the onomatopoeia. I don't know where that guy is going. Come back here. Where are you going? Why are you suddenly trying to fight those guys? Come back.
Don't worry about it.
This is one Assault Marine on a mission.
First step on
This doesn't matter. This don't matter. None of this matters.
My knowledge is at your disposal.
If any of you at home got that in the moment, that was Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. You should go treat yourself to something for getting an incredibly deep cut.
And we're now going to start our construction of the tank hunting squad. I do like my tank. We're going to need him. We're definitely going to need him this time because this particular mission is lousy with vehicles. Hey, you see that particular knob there had a power claw, and that is the Ork equivalent of the power fist. Just instead of being a large gauntlet enclosed with crackling energy that allows them to tear through armor with ease, the Ork version is a very, very lethal can opener.
Yup, indeed.
Talked about how great the sound direction was, just that beautiful rev of the chainsaw. You definitely it's high pitched enough that it doesn't feel like a chainsaw. Like it's kind of weird like that. I love it.
And again, I actually am not familiar with voiced the rank and file Space Marines in this game. Because like even when the rank last time, like people were just credited as assorted voices.
An open mind is like a fortress with its
But you know, whomever did that, like they're a freaking like they absolutely nailed the cadence, the feel, the intensity, like everything about the Space Marines. They encapsulated into these 2 and 3 second voice clips and made it all feel really good and really amazing. Like again, gave a shout out to Dan Abnett. Like that cat is incredible and an amazing person. Like if the voice actor of the Space Marines, like the rank and file Space Marines in this game, like ever produce this stuff, please understand that you are amazing. And like it was you who was the primary catalyst that got me into this game, this franchise, this everything, because you just nailed it.
Time for the machine car. I should also point out we obviously the plasma pistol and power sword upgrades go to your sergeants, but your leaders, Gabriel and Isidore, will also get the plasma pistol upgrade. And then the last upgrade level, of course, is the power fist, which allows your sergeant to essentially get an anti-tank weapon on his arm, which can be very handy for the assault squads, because assault squads also get sergeants, so they get to make use of all the special abilities and things like that. Like you eventually end up getting quite a lot of hotkeys to mess around in this game.
Yeah, I had so much fun playing this game. So much fun.
I love my tank hunters.
I await your instructions.
We might have to do a couple of co-op games just to show off some of the other armies
From the machine
before this particular phase of things is over.
Well, I think Winter Assault doesn't change too much up, and you get to play as all the other factions that are in the game.
It is true.
Aside from Space
You're
Marines.
right. Yeah,
so I feel like that's going to be
idea.
that's going to be the best way to look at it.
That's a better idea. Oh man, that kill a can. It sync killed one of the assault marines, and there was immediate reprisals.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, cool. Just wait for him to finish the animation and throw a melter bomb at him. He's not quite as scary as he thinks he is.
He thinks he's amazing, but he's actually not.
Direct us to the enemy.
Oh, that knob is still kicking.
It's alright. Everyone's just gonna shoot him to death.
Yeah, that's the end of that problem.
He's broken, there's nothing left.
Yeah, that's the end of that.
So now we can build whirlwinds, and for whatever reason, now they're down here, they're not going to be as terrible, so I'll build 2. Whirlwinds are I think they're probably, until Winter Assault comes around, the longest range artillery you can get in the game. They can hit from very far away. They've got a decent punch on them. Like the interesting thing about artillery in this game is that they obviously can only fire as far as they can see, or rather, their firing range is far further than their own visual range. So if you hang them back from far away on the back line, but you send other troops forwards, such as say scouts or servo skulls, invisible, you can use them to spot for the whirlwinds, and the whirlwinds can pound the enemy target into oblivion. Obviously, when the Imperial Guard get added in Winter Assault, we discovered the true meaning of artillery. But until then...
Basilisks, bitches. Basilisks.
The Basilisk can practically hit you from home base. That's probably an exaggeration, but only a little bit.
I mean, like the earth shakes when a basilisk fires, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the consistency of the earth.
Yeah.
Like the basilisk is amazing. Like the visceral input of it is just, it's impossible to put into words, and I look forward to us showing it off when the assault hits.
This is very unfortunate. I didn't think this would happen.
Are you serious? That's freaking... Oh my god.
Yeah, Storm Boys.
Stormboys.txt, man.
Yeah, this basically points out how dangerous, how dangerous these sorts of units can be. A well-applied assault squad or Stormboy squad can absolutely just, mess you up. And mess up your battle plans and disrupt your battle plans. And you know what? Killing unit building builders is a fantastic strategy. It works in pretty much every aspect of RTS games.
I mean, it's been like going back to StarCraft and Total Annihilation. Like if you can sneak some people in and kill the peons or kill the SCVs.
Oh, I'd go even earlier than that, and like Dune 2, kill the spice harvesters, man.
True story. True story. Like disrupt those supply lines. You disrupt the entire process, right? Like it buys you entire minutes sometimes of just being able to secure progress while your opponent is just trying to handle remedial nonsense, like crap that's below them.
Direct us to the enemy.
Yeah, trying to get some plasma boys up as well. It's always good to have ranged fire that just punches through stuff. I believe I did mention it, but troops that fire while moving have lower accuracy, which are also the range finders help with, target finders help with. But yeah, like having units that can fire on the move is still better than a unit moving and not firing their guns, like say with heavy bolters and other things like that. So plasma guns are pretty good for having a mobile squad to damage enemy armor on their infantry. But I love my missile squads. You can always just say like, I attack, everybody else, missile squad does the work.
Oh man. Like everybody else is just screening for the missile squads that go absolutely fucking bonkers.
Gotta hunt tanks. There's something just satisfying about having a squad of dudes whose entire job is to just make tanks vanish and do so in seconds.
Dude, they're the Torg squad. Their entire freaking reason for existing is explosions.
Let's take care of the rest of these stanky grots and their stupid piles of guns. Now, I did say, I did sort of make a mistake when I first talked about some of the features of resource gathering in this game, because there is, in fact, one more type of power station you can build. You'll see that little location there, that little square. It is a thermal generator location.
Generators are available. They will provide us greater access.
You put a special generator on top of that, and it absolutely super turbocharges your power gain. It is ridiculous. Another thing that's actually worth noting that I didn't talk about, that we'll actually get up messages for, is that requisition is not an infinite stuff. It's not a permanent infinite resource that comes at a constant rate the entire time. It actually does deplete over time. The rate at which you get it does start to decay. It doesn't hit zero, but it does fall off. So it's a way to disincentivize trying to hold a small location of lots of stuff and bide your time to build up a huge force, because in essence, I mean, aside from it being just generally a bad idea anyway, it will just eventually wear down, and you will, to keep the rate up, you will need to take other locations. I don't know if somebody else taking a point resets decay or not. It's nothing I've ever actually tried to look at, and I feel like by that point in the game, you're either rolling over your opponent or they're rolling over you, so it doesn't matter.
That's very much where it's at. Like the requisition decay in this game is real strong, and not and actually your friend, really, in terms of, if like requisition decay keeps the game from getting too stagnant.
Yeah.
Like real talk. Turtling is not something that should ever be encouraged in any RTS game, because like there's a freaking reason why even chess was encouraged to become a more aggressive, violent, and quick game, because not even the like kings of Europe could deal with the fucking 3-hour games of the original true strategy game that came from India, that chess originally came from. So, like, even when we're talking about 1,000 years ago, turtling is not the solution. Turtling is not the solution in these games either. Like, so freaking get out there, kill something, or get killed. Either or, doesn't matter.
It is important to note that we do get a slightly more defensive army in Winter Assault as the Imperial Guard add, but the Imperial Guard are still aggressively defensive, and we will definitely talk about how that works when we actually play as them, because I do quite like their playstyle.
You know, the design regarding the Imperial Guard is actually kind of brilliant. I won't attempt to get into it right now because my words won't be sufficient. But like the design regarding the Imperial Guard is it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. I pray you look forward to it.
Yeah, we will not be equipping assault cannons on our dreadnoughts in this particular phase of the game. We'll need them to be on full smashing duty, because our enemy is going to be dealing with a lot more armor than we will be dealing with when we're dealing with infantry once we start to assault their holdings. We saw in the intro panning that they have looted Lehman Russ tanks, which is to say that is the Ork equivalent of artillery. We saw how long range the Lehman Russ that we got to use in the game, like in the first stage was. It could fire quite a distance. It's about the same for the Ork one, so that's still quite a sizable piece of artillery that can do a sizable shot. And this is a valuable lesson. You want to build more than one base. There's a few reasons for that. Not only because you have an upper limit of generators you can build. That gets extended once you build like more of your primary buildings. You can build more power generators after that. So like, you know, if your power generation is starting to decaying, hey, look at that, you can build more of these, and suddenly it's back up again. But at the same time, it's also just good to have another more forward base so that you can reinforce your lines easier. Because if you've brought your lines forward and you're still reinforcing from way back, you saw in the last episode how long it took some of my guys to get back into the fray, like, you know, when the Gabriel Angelos fell. He had to walk back, and it took him quite a while. We don't have access to our
there was a
troop
reason
transport
why
yet.
I called it out at that moment too, is because seconds do matter in this game. Maybe not 1 or 2 seconds, but 15 seconds, 20 seconds matters. 100% matters.
It's the difference between a unit reinforcement arriving and to assist, or a reinforcement unit arriving to find there's no one to reinforce and getting cut down as well.
Yep. Like it's doubling down your losses, or having the close.
Oh dear.
Build routine 721 initiated.
I do appreciate how they just like fire these fucking things from orbit, like no more than 6 feet away from the nearest space marine. And the nearest space marine is like, that's Tuesday.
I love that they throw the generator stuff down and it just slams into like the location with pinpoint accuracy where we're going to be building the generator. It's like, I feel like that's a bad idea that probably would cause something to explode.
It's an incredibly bad idea. There's
And it
no
looks
way
so good.
that's a good idea. Yeah, and it looks so good, and it feels so good.
The Ork way of doing it isn't much better. I love the Ork way of doing it. They've got large transport planes, which are generally Ork planes are called fighter bombers, and they essentially just drop a large ball of scrap on a location, and then the grots all get together and turn it into something.
And it literally looks like the fighter bomber is just sort of pooping it out of the back. It's so good.
It's like attached to like a chain or something, and they just cut the chain and it drops.
Yeah, it's just,
so imagine trying to fly with that swinging underneath it. You can say a lot of things about Orks, but they know how to pilot machines. Gabriel Angelos said it himself about the Speed Freaks. Holy crap, these guys can coordinate their vehicles together in a way that most other military organizations would struggle to do so at those sorts of numbers. Whereas the Orks somehow managed to just make it work through...
You sort of do it.
Yeah.
this is why you needed dreadnoughts. It's because fording this river is as dangerous as any bullshit you do in Oregon Trail. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Thankfully, the Orks weren't sensible enough to really defend that spot, because trying to walk through there would just be murderous. We don't have access to our transport troops yet, which would be nice, because that makes it all a whole lot less terrifying. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, but that. It is worth noting that troop transports in many RTS games have a dubious reason for existing. But the troop transports in Dawn of War have an incredibly good reason for existing, is because like even in terms of the lightly armored and relatively disposable ones that the Orks have in the war truck. Getting them over and into the fray is incredibly important, even if they don't survive the process. Even if they just show up and they're just like they get blown up. All of the units pop out completely unharmed by the way, and they like pick themselves up off the ground and so on and so forth. But they don't have to ford the damn river. You know, that's a big deal.
Yeah. In addition to that, the Space Marine transports, the Rhino, which is like the Rhino chassis is basically the ubiquitous Space Marine vehicle chassis. Most of their vehicles use it. The Whirlwinds use it. It's basically just rocket launchers attached to the top of it. I'm going to hold that thought for a little because we're about to encounter the super heavy unit of the Orks. The
oh shit.
The Squiggoth, and just look how it eats dreadnoughts. So, Squigs are a part of the Ork ecosystem. We've talked about how Orks are basically space fungus. They bring their own ecosystem with them through the spores. They're basically genetically bred for war, and used to be a lot smarter about it too, but those that were in charge just sort of stopped happening. There's a bit of a brain drain in the greenskins. And the part of the ecosystem are squigs, and squigs act as a source of a lot of different sort of functions in Ork society: food, waste disposal, pets, and in the rare case that they're able to cultivate it, a squig can grow to an absolute mammoth size. Squigs take a variety of forms as well. They can be simple two legs, or anything like that. Orkamungus is here too now, by the way. I'm pulling my assault squad out, so they're back to get that.
Smart move.
Yeah, we don't want to fight that. But yeah, and so in this particular case, the Squiggoth is the most powerful vehicle that you can get. He's got a very dangerous charge that can be used to sort of, is the door went down? Can be used to just punch through the enemy lines, smash infantry aside, and everything like that. We've got, they've got a very powerful zap gun on top. They can hold 2 units of troops inside, and so they can basically march through a tight. Because you can see how much damage this guy is soaking. You can wade through enemy forces with it, and then disgorge a Warboss, a full squad of knobs that he's leading, like two of them in fact, and then just be like, hey, bye. And right behind him, of course, shelling us this whole time, we've also got looted tanks. This is a kill lane. I love it. But we have been trading fire with them. The Whirlwinds have been doing their best. And I think Gabriel's gonna die in a second, but that's okay.
No!
It's fine. He's had worse. And now we need to just start prepping dreadnoughts to replace all the ones we lost. They held things on pretty well. But now it's time.
You got the Squiggoth. That was a giant roadblock that you just put.
Yeah, super heavy units in this game do not mess around. Everybody has one, and they all perform a different sort of function and behave a different sort of way. The Squiggoths sort of, they're fun. I love Squiggoths, and but the other 2 factions that we'll be facing have very different kinds. The Space Marine one we'll get to when it turns up. Of course, we'll get to play with theirs. It's a wonderful unit as well.
So much fun.
Yeah, so the tank hunting squads are now going to continue to earn their keep.
Yes, my lord.
A look how many they've got. See, this is what I was talking about.
Oh, that's a lot of dudes.
There is no vehicle cap for these orcs, I don't think.
That's a lot of dudes.
Yeah? Yeah, that's a lot of dudes. I was a little worried I hadn't actually sent in enough dudes to fight them, but I think I'm okay.
Fall back and regroup is fucking real.
Yeah, Lord Orkamungus is about to die. There he goes.
Alright, that's that problem.
Absolutely
taken care
no
of.
fanfare, and nobody even notes his passing. It's just like, yep.
Hey man, that is Warhammer 40k. Like that is insanely Warhammer 40k. It's incredibly this incredibly important and dangerous enemy finally fucking dies. Sorry, I've got 3 other targets at a handle here. Like I'm super glad you're dead, but I've got other things to deal with.
There's so many, like, an orc base is such a terror to infiltrate, just because of the sheer amount of things shooting at you. Even if not all of them are particularly powerful, they're just gonna give you a headache.
I mean, you're gonna get a headache if nothing else from the concentrated.
Oh yeah, so thunderous, so thunderous, and I love it.
Praise the Emperor.
But we're getting there. We're chewing through them.
Yeah, you're making progress. There's no two ways about that.
It's actually kind of it's a testament to how durable the Space Marines are that I managed to get through that
Really
without
is. Like,
many
and
losses of the infantry.
We stand ready.
And also the absolute resilience, not just in health terms, but also morale terms. Like we've seen the squads breaking and everything like that. But we've also seen them using the sergeant's ability to rally them, and how well they're sticking in there in general sense. Like right now, we have one squad broken under direct assault by a Luger-less tank. If we were talking about orcs right now, like the entire battle line could be broken.
Yeah.
Like flat, like real talk.
Walk softly and carry a big gun.
Also, the writing behind "walk softly and carry a big gun" is. I feel like that particularly is a lovely bit of writing that separates Gabriel Angelos from a lot of his contemporaries in
Yeah.
the Warhammer mythos. Not just because it reinforces him as a consummate soldier rather than a jingoistic zealot,
The Emperor.
but also because, like, for a lot of Western audiences, that's identifiable as a knockoff of Theodore Roosevelt's "Speak softly and carry a big stick." Which it just comes with so much extra context and so much extra culture surrounding it. It just does a wonderful job of communicating who Gabriel Angelos is in so few words.
Yeah,
It's
I said it
absolute
before and I'll say it
masterstroke.
again. He still always struck me in this game as being a bit more of the Jean-Luc Picard style of leader.
Yeah.
You know, the soft-spoken, thoughtful, understands the role of Space Marines in the structure of the Imperium, and very strictly holds to that ideal without takes his own failures quite personally on it. I'm obviously talking about old Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise, not more modern one, which is
I haven't even seen the new Picard
I haven't
stuff.
either, but I just wanted to differentiate because I know a lot of people would probably come out swinging on that. So.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the new Picard stuff. I've seen the TNG stuff, and that had a very specific context to it that I feel like fits very well with Gabe. Mm-hmm. Like he's very well done and very well thought through. Like that's kind of been something that we've always attempted to call out when we've seen it, is catching designers and writers and game doing right in terms of thinking about their craft, thinking about what they're doing, showing love for what they're attempting to do. And there's so much love in this game. There's just an absolute overflowing amount of love in every character, every line, every thought process, and it's just like all of the people involved in this game deserve praise.
While the enemies of the Emperor
Still so many orcs to kill.
There's still so many orcs to kill, and there's still so many missions to gush over. Like I realize I'm gushing pretty hard right now. This is only the first act. This is only the first act of 3.
Yeah, and at the end of this, we're going to be hitting the second act. This is where things sort of start to escalate, and we encounter the unseen faction of this, because we know Chaos is here, we know the Greenskins are here, and of course we know exactly. Anybody who knows the Warhammer 40,000 know who is next.
Anybody who knows me knows what's next from that growl.
But it's well worth it, because they bring something very interesting to the playstyle of Dawn of War as well. They definitely help the asymmetrical nature of this game a lot by adding a particular aspect I enjoy.
Are you fucking serious? Oh my god!
There's always a little more. I think we've missed one down here as well. I think the Grots actually built something on that, and then we killed the Grots.
I'm pretty sure they did.
So I'll send some boys around to get that.
I'm a little bit drunk right now, but I'm pretty sure that thermo power generator did not exist 5 minutes ago.
Those whirlwinds, boom boom.
Whirlwinds,
you guys see, like you can barely make it out on the fringe, and that's when one whirlwind that was close stopped and started firing, but one whirlwind which was much further away stopped and started firing as well.
Yeah, because it was getting target data from the advanced whirlwind.
Yeah, so that's like artillery.
That's why this isn't. We've still got a couple of Du Bois huts, and Du Bois huts made like the pile of guns wouldn't actually stop this mission from ending, because the pile of guns is the armory, and it doesn't directly make units, and so on and so forth. But bigot generator. Okay, fine. It's not a thermoplasma generator. It's a bigot generator.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think Orks know what that word means. Thermal.
Doesn't matter. There we go. Kill the Warboss and destroy his entire base. That's a wonderful objective. Like, I just want to appreciate that.
Brother Tantheus,
Burned beyond recovery of his gene seed, along with Brother Michaelis. Nothing was left of them save for ash. They burned from the inside out.
anything else to report?
The Ork Warboss has been destroyed, but we saw a dropship leave the area. Captain, she bore the 8-pointed star.
The mark of the ruinous powers of chaos.
The forces of chaos? Here? Now?
Tartarus has endured several Black Crusades led by the terrible Chaos Champions. However, it seems too convenient that Orks and these heretics are here at the same time. But I trust the eyes of our scouts. Isidore, do you sense anything?
No, I have sensed nothing. But if the nature of Brother Tantheus's demise is any indication, then they would have a sorcerer with them who would be capable of masking their presence, especially with all the background static caused by the Orks.
Ah, our honored guest has arrived.
Who is it?
Inquisitor Mordecai Toth, protector of the Emperor's divine word and will.
Is he here to take command?
An Inquisitor may have near unlimited power. Yes, he can commission the service of any Imperial citizen, from peasant to planetary governor, but...
I shall not cede command of my Space Marines to him, Inquisitor or not.
Then why is he here? Does he suspect one of us of heresy?
He is an Inquisitor, They suspect everyone of heresy. If chaos taints this world, then that explains his presence. We must share with him what we discovered. Inquisitor Toth, welcome to Tartarus.
Thank you, Captain. But we have little time for courtesies. You and your men must leave Tartarus. Now.
It's very much an Inquisition thing to just turn up and say, okay, stop having fun. Dawn of War's over. Slamming fists. Also worth noting, Isidore there, being like, oh yeah, I don't sense anything. But you know, if they've got a sorcerer, wink nudge, yeah, I'd probably be capable of hiding his presence. He did also mention that the background static created by the Orks, it's not something they go into too much, but Orks latently generate a psychic field as part of the Wa. That sort of, you know, it just basically just amps them up. You might just call it the same way that a bunch of people getting excited in the room can get more excited. It's just that sort of an energy, but it can be harnessed by particular Ork psychers. And it can also, you know, instinctively attract even more Orks from further afield to come join the fight. So when he talks about it being,
those Ork psychers are called weird boys, and weirdly enough, that sort of latent excitement breeding excitement is very much a soccer hooligan thing.
Yeah, it keeps going back to that. But that is it for the Orks, unfortunately. We won't be seeing them in any sizable role from here on out, but we aren't dipping our toes into chaos just yet. We've got to try and convince this new Inquisitor that, well, Tartarus is a bit of danger, and we can't just leave it behind. But who will be facing that'll help us explain that to him, or you know, as if he didn't already know. That's next time. I've been the Last Robokai,
and I have been Cool Guy,
and we'll see you all in the next episode.
And don't worry, we will also be seeing the Orks again in Winter Assault.